Hello and welcome to another edition of the Paul's Body Engineering Podcast. It's been a while. It's actually been several weeks, in fact, and probably due to a number of factors. For those that don't follow me intimately, I had to go to India, or didn't have to. I chose to go to India twice. I've been through obviously a bodybuilding season as a coach and a judge, so there's a lot going on. And I've always said I don't want to deliver a podcast that isn't truly valuable. It doesn't provide a lot of insight, a lot of information, education, an element of comedy, if I can call it that, maybe a few dad jokes. But, I don't want to just slap up a podcast for the sake of it. It very much has to give you some information. You're the one spending the time and listening and investing. I want to make sure that you very much appreciate what you're getting, but also can take some value from it. So this week's podcast, I thought I've come up with a list of... there's a little bit of humour to this, but the reality is it's very, very true, and that is 8 types of people that never lose weight. And these are the sort of common excuses you see in the industry, and a lot of coaches who may listen to this, coaches, trainers, may listen to this actually will probably agree with most of these, and plenty of you who are listening will probably go, oh my God, that's me. I'm number 4 or number 6. And this is not a shot at anyone. It's common behaviour within the industry, particularly from those that are trying to lose weight. They have intention to lose weight, but they keep using the same excuses over and over again, and the recycling of bad behaviours keeps occurring, which is why they're not having success. So the first one, number 1, is the victim. So this is the person who claims that everything bad happens to them. They have a slow metabolism, they have bad genetics, they have a stressful job, they have an unsupportive partner, the groceries are expensive. There's just excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. Nothing is in their control and nothing is their fault. They'll be telling the same story 10 years from now because they'll keep going through this cycle. So the instance here is a change in mindset. Okay, they've got to change their mindset and get over all these excuses, because the ones I just read out, we know that your metabolism isn't slow. Okay, that's been debunked. Bad genetics, well, look, there is an argument for lesser ideal genetics compared to the next person who may have better genetics. Doesn't mean you can't still work hard and achieve results. Stressful job, we've all got stressful jobs. It's not about the job, it's about managing your stress better. Unsupportive partner, well, you need to talk to them about that. And obviously the other example, expensive groceries. Yep, you're preaching to the choir, because guess what? All groceries are expensive at the moment. Everyone's in the same boat there. So that is the victim. Now, number 2, the researcher. This person has read every book. They've listened to every podcast. They follow every good coach on Instagram. And technically they probably know more about fitness than me, but they never stick to a single program or a plan for more than, say, 4 weeks at a time. Okay, knowledge isn't the problem. Doing it is. Doing the actual, examples. They've listened to everything. So the application, or the knowledge of the application, is there, but they just fail to do it. They actually fail to deliver. They fail to take action. So they're very much about the theory and less about the execution. So that is the researcher. All right. Number 3, and many of you listening will laugh at this, the Monday starter. And it's kind of self-explanatory, right? I'll start Monday. They've said it 200 times. Monday isn't the plan. Monday is the excuse. It's an excuse so that they can obviously enjoy their weekend. And look, if that is your decision to make, all the power to you. But the day you start is the day you start, not the date you wrote on a calendar. So if you have to start your journey on a Friday, do it. Start it. Don't wait until Monday. There's 2 more days, 3 more days that you've lost. The Monday starter, it'll just be an ongoing, repeatable, reoccurring cycle of excuses. Monday. Oh, 6 months from now, so... Again, the Monday starter, very common reason. All right, number 4, the all or nothing perfectionist. Many of you can attest to this. There's plenty of people I deal with personally in terms of my coaching that have to remove that perfection tag or that perfection mentality. 2 weeks of perfect eating, 1 bad weekend, then they take 3 months off. They can't do 80%. It has to be 100% or it's worthless. This is why they've been overweight, or they're chasing weight loss for 10 years and will continue to do so for 10 years. So look, as I said just there, 80%. If you can be 80% for 12 months, I'll tell you what, you're going to get some amazing results. But trying to be 100% and then throwing in the towel after a couple of weeks because it didn't work, and then going pear-shaped on your diet and your training for 3 months and then trying to get back into it again, and that cycle continues, you're not going to have any success. That is the definition, or the opposite, the pure opposite of consistency, which you don't want to be going through, and you'll just continually cycle through that. So 80% is better than 100%, 30% of the time, if that makes sense. Number 5, the complainer. And I must admit, I'll put my hand up for this sometimes. I'll acknowledge that I often, well, not often, but every now and then I will complain, not looking forward to going to the gym, or, things are a little bit too hard. My wife will say, yep, that's you. The complainer, the gym's too far. The food is too expensive. The workout is too hard. The plan is too restrictive. Everything is a reason it won't work. Calories are too hard to track. I don't have enough time. All these sorts of things get thrown out. Meanwhile, and this is just a hypothetical example, single mums with 3 kids and 2 jobs are getting lean. The problem isn't the circumstance, it's the individual. You can find time, okay? It's just got to be a stronger priority. It's as simple as that. All right, number 6, the I deserve this eater. Oh, it cracks me up. Hard week at work equals pizza and drinks. Promotion equals a bottomless lunch. Stressful day equals a glass of wine and an ice cream. They use food to reward, comfort, and cope, and then they wonder why their body isn't changing. So clearly there's a coping mechanism that everyone leans on in this category, and it is primarily probably due to stress or some form of stress, right? You have a stressful week at work, guess what? You want to lean on alcohol to cope, to numb that feeling. You need another outlet. You need somewhere else to lean to mitigate that, because you're clearly not going to get results. We know how many calories are in alcohol, okay? It's excessive. But also what the alcohol does to our body in terms of weight loss, in terms of water retention, in terms of protein synthesis, in terms of sodium content. It's excessive. So, I'm not saying don't have a drink, but if this is you, maybe it's time to reassess where you're at and pull back on the alcohol. It doesn't have to be forever, but maybe you need to prove to yourself that you can go without it and get through some tough times, build some resilience up, build some mental toughness up. Okay, number 7, the shortcut seeker. I think there's a vast majority of the population that fall into this one. So, the 30-day cleanse, the fat burner, the new GLP-1, the waist trainer, the detox tea, the 6-week challenge, the 30-day shred, they all fall into it. Always looking for the magic that doesn't exist. The shortcut they're looking for has always been the same. Eat right, lift weights, walk regularly, sleep well, and hit repeat. If you do those things well and consistently, you will get results. You will feel better. Looking for a quick fix, a quick result, instant gratification is not going to deliver you a sustainable, long-term healthy outcome. And we know this. So many people actually are aware of this and yet choose to go down that path anyway. You know what? Most people listening to this, and the vast majority of the population that this applies to, are adults. Therefore, we're mature enough to make informed, strong, educated decisions. So if that is your educated decision to go down a path where you're chasing a quick return, all the power to you. But at the end of the day, it's not going to last, and we know that, okay? It is a shortcut. Number 8, the blamer. Well, my wife buys junk food. My co-workers bring donuts to work. My boss makes me work late. Other people are always the reason they can't lose weight. They're redirecting the blame and the excuse and the reason for their non-success to somebody else. You're an adult. You make your own choices. Stop handing the keys to your body to other people. And this is so true. The kids are playing up. You're all stressed out. Again, you've got complete control over your life. It's your life. I'll repeat that. It is your life. You have control over it. No one dictates what you can and can't do. So why allow other people to carry the burden of excuses that you need to eradicate yourself? Don't allow that to happen. It's a simple fix. When it's broken down and identified to you, it's a simple fix. It really is. So look, if anyone listening to this, or you want to share this to people, if any of these sort of trigger you in a way, or you go, you know what, that's kind of like me, I'm actually version 1 and 3, or 3 and 5, or 6 and 8, you need to fix the mindset. The body follows the mindset, okay? All of them are easy to fix. That's the thing. I've worked with people who fall into many of those categories, and it's an easy fix. It just takes effort, it takes time, it takes patience. You put in that effort, you will get the results. It's like investing on the share market, okay? It takes time. You're not going to get an immediate return straight away. It's probably going to take you several years to generate that return on investment. This is no different. I'm not saying 7 years, but it's going to take you time. All right, so look, that's kind of what I wanted to get across today. There's an element of humor in that, because those 8 examples they're funny, but they're funny because they're real, and they're actually people in society today that often use these excuses, or they look for other reasons why they can't have success in a health and fitness journey, when the fact is it's completely on their shoulders. It is completely on their action, their execution, their responsibility. They're not holding themselves to a high enough account. They're continually coming up with excuses. And if you continually come up with excuses and you're okay with that, you're going to keep treading water. You're going to spin your wheels, and you're not going to actually make any traction on a weight loss or health and fitness journey. So look, if any of that triggers you and you'd like to discuss things more, you want to get out of this loop, get out of this constantly making excuses, you want to be held to more account. I've had plenty of clients come to me. I've had one, and I don't know if they listened to this or not, they came to me after 4 years of constantly, saying, all right, I'm going to sign up with Paul, I'm going to sign up with Paul, I'm going to sign up with Paul. They never did. They continually tried themselves. They kept spinning their wheels, and they eventually made their way to me and took that plunge. And now they're over 20 kilos lighter, having started in January. It is now June. So they made the change, and they're so glad that they did. And honestly, they've made the comment they regretted they haven't started it sooner. So the point of that is, it's not too late to make a change, but clearly what you're doing may not be working. Clearly what you're doing is causing some frustration. You need to make sacrifices for long-term success. And that's what people fail to realize. The food, the alcohol, the choices you make, they will always be there. But why not suck it up for 6 months, lock in, and really just go rock hard on your goals and see what you can achieve. Test yourself. Do it not only for yourself, do it for your family, do it for the people around you. Do it so you can prove to yourself that you can do it, and you might pave the way for others to follow. You might be the next inspiration where people follow you and go, oh my God, so-and-so looks amazing. I'm going to lock in now because clearly it can be done. And that's what you want. So I'll wrap up there. I don't think there's much else I need to touch on. 13 minutes, that's pretty good, I think. But I think the message is very clear. And I think those 8 examples are very relevant. They're contextually very relevant. They're very common. And I think that they would relate to a lot of people. They're very relatable. So if you fall into one or more, message me. Let's have a chat. There's no obligation when we have a chat that you have to sign up. But I'll just give you my input, my educational position on where you currently are, what needs to happen, and if you want to go ahead, great. If you don't, no problem. There's no pressure. I'm 48 years old. I'm not going to hard sell you. There's no way. It's more about the work for me. So I'll leave you there. Thank you once again for tuning in. Hopefully I can do some more of these more regularly, and I've got some great topics to discuss as well. So I thank you very much for tuning in. If you are interested in my coaching services, send me a DM on Instagram, or go to my website, paulsbodyengineering.com, and reach out via the Contact Us page, and I'll be happy to discuss more things with you. Other than that, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I need a new sign-off too. So anyone who's come this far on my podcast, I need a new sign-off. So I welcome suggestions. Please let me know if you've got some entertaining ones, but I'll stick with the same one I've been using for the last 5 years. And that is, as I say to every client, every single day, have a great day.